What is going on, guys? Fitcho here, and welcome back to my MotoGP 17 career mode. Today, we're here for episode number 12 and round 11 of the Moto3 World Championship, and today, we're heading to Austria, to the Red Bull Ring, and of course, we are riding a Red Bull sponsored bike, and this circuit is owned by Red Bull, so there is a little bit of additional pressure for us to perform this weekend at our home race in many ways, so hopefully, we can put in a good result, hopefully another race a bit like Brno, and where we can just be super quick, but I'm not too sure. Austria is a track I know well from F1, but I'm not too sure how I'm going to do on a motorbike here. So here we are in Austria, in Spielberg, at the Red Bull Ring for today's qualifying session, and the weather looks quite nice, 31 degrees, and fairly clear skies, good conditions for some racing. Here we go, we're about to start our first flying lap here in qualifying in Austria. Now, I was driving this track literally yesterday on F1, so I need to get that out of my head, how to drive this circuit in an F1 car and learn how to ride it on a Moto3 bike as we head through turn number 1, a decent line through there, and now the long straight up towards turn number 2. Now I think actually technically this kink here counts as turn number 2 in MotoGP, but it doesn't for F1, so I'm probably just going to call this corner turn 2 for the entirety of this video. And geez, that corner is a lot different on this game to how it is in F1, a lot hillier, I guess that's the word, on this game, a lot more undulation change through that corner. But now, down the long straight towards turn number 3, another heavy braking zone for a very slow corner, all the way back to first gear, and this corner seems a bit flatter than it does in F1. Just some subtle differences I am noticing considering how recently I was on this track on a different game, but regardless, we're down towards turn number 5, one of only 2 left-handers on this entire circuit, so the left-hand side of the tyre is going to be cold when we get to these 2 corners now through turn number 6, and then we flick it back to the right for turn number 7, and now the straight up over the crest towards the final 2 corners. So far we're quickest through the first 2 sectors, and make that 3 sectors is now down to the second last corner, very deep into there, and I think that's going to be a second gear corner now, only 1 corner to go, another second gear corner I feel, and again that last corner feels a bit different too on F1, but regardless, up towards the start finish line, it's made a decent lap, and it's a 1:41.1, and we were 2/10 off pole in the end. A nice draft down this straight, down towards turn 3, should really help our lap time. We were fastest through the first sector, now we get a toe down towards turn 3. This should hopefully be a decent lap, assuming we don't make any mistakes. We run it a little bit deep down into turn 3. It's been a good lap, 3 faster sectors and a good toe, and it is a 1:39.4, 1.5 seconds quicker than the previous time, and there's no point doing another lap. Let's just end the session there. I doubt anyone is going to improve to over 1.5 seconds. We'll just skip through the rest of this session now. They're going to make little improvements, but they're not going to get anywhere near close enough. They are still 1.4 seconds off my time, and there we go. We have taken pole position here in the Red Bull Ring, I should say. A great result considering we are riding for a Red Bull sponsored team, so it's good to get a good result in front of our main sponsors. But joining me on the front row of the grid is Joan Mir and Romano Fernardi, and in the end, we got pole by just under 1.4 seconds. It's like 1.397 or something to Mio, and then on the second row of the grid is Jorge Martin, Niccolo Bulliger, and Aaron Canet. And looking further down, our teammate Antonelli is all the way down in 11th place. It's race day here in Austria, and again, it looks like a very nice day here in the mountains. 26 degrees and nice blue skies. We haven't got the normal Austrian weather that we get here. It doesn't look like we're going to get any sort of rain or anything, which I would have expected, to be honest, at a racetrack like the Red Bull Ring. Of course, it is famous for getting a bit of rain and always having some changing weather conditions, but it looks like it's going to be a nice dry race for today's Austrian Grand Prix.
The riders are all on the grid now, ready for the Austrian Grand Prix. In just a few moments, the lights will go out and they'll be away at this historic Red Bull Ring.
Here we go, it is race time here in Austria. Get the bike into first gear, the revs rise, the lights come on. And it's lights out, and away we go. The Austrian Grand Prix is underway, and how has our start been? Mir is already up our inside. It's been a pretty bad start as we head down towards turn number 1. We've dropped back all the way to 3rd place. Make that 4th place is Canet, Bullrich and Martin and Mino all barge up our inside as we get a terrible exit as we're somehow ended up in 5th gear. It's been a shocking run through the first corner. We've dropped all the way down to 8 places. We dropped 8 positions off the start. That is ridiculous. A shocking first corner. We just got pushed wide, and then everyone just followed through as DG Antonio tries it, but that is not going to work. And now up the inside of John McPhee back into 7th. The fight back is now on in Austria. In the slipstream of Nicolo Bullrich down towards turn number 3. We should be able to make this move. Up the inside on the brakes, hard on the brake. Oh no, we've run it way too deep. Almost out into the grass, and we're not going to get that move done. Is McPhee going to come back at us? No, he is not, thankfully. I'll just go a bit deep on the brakes, and we are now sitting in 7th place. We're catching up as we've got the line all wrong into this left-hander. It's always a tricky left-hander. It's a very blind entrance to that one, and it's hard to pick your turn-in point. I know I have the racing line on, but I wasn't really looking at it, to be honest. End of lap 1 and the start of lap 2 of 14 here in Austria. We're sitting in 7th place. We've got Bullrich just in front of us, is down into turn 1. We run it a little bit deep, and it looks like Mino could be out at the front of the field and trying to make a break for it. Up the inside of Canet through turn number 2 as everyone runs very, very wide. Mino, I think that's Finardi and Mir all run wide as we make up 2 positions on Bullrich there as we now head down towards turn number 3. We're up into 5th place, and I was right. Mino is trying to break away at the front of this field. Down to turn 3, we're right on the back of Mir, who's gone for a move on Finardi. They're going side by side, but Finardi's got the better driver. Mir has not had a good exit. We're going to look up his inside, down into turn number 5, up the inside of Finardi as well. No, not quite as Mir gives us a little bit of a tap, and Bullrich sneaks through and gets the pair of us, and he is now up into 4th place. Can we try it up the inside of the penultimate corner? No, not quite close enough to go for the move there on Bullrich. Now through the final corner, Finardi looks to be getting quite wide like I was as we end lap number 2 of 14 here in Austria in the slipstream of Bullrich. I don't think we're going to be close enough to try something up the inside of turn number 1, but just be patient, get a good exit off turn number 1. I've got a very long run up to turn number 2, a decent exit up the inside of Bullrich and up the inside of Romano Finardi and back into a podium place just like that. And who is that up ahead? I can't quite tell from here. It's Jorge Martin in 2nd place. We need to set about chasing down Martin as we head into turn number 2. Up the inside, very, very late and aggressive as he took a very odd line through there. We're now into 2nd place just like that. And now we have to try to chase down Mino, who's got a bit of a gap. He's built a gap after only 2 laps of racing here in Austria. We're now close to Mino. I reckon we're in range to get the effect of slipstream. We can see we are gaining up to the back of Mino as we head up towards turn number 2. Hard on the brakes for one of the slowest corners on the track. Can we sneak up the inside? Yes, we can. A lot of curb unsettles the bike, and we just hold on to it, and we take the lead of this Austrian Grand Prix from Mino, but he is right there behind us as we head down towards turn 3. You can see he is not getting in our slipstream, and that's one thing I wanted to comment on. I've noticed on this game the AI are a little bit odd. Down the straights, they never get into your slipstream. They have their own predetermined line, and they always follow that. They never seem to sort of follow you down the straight to get the slipstream like riders would in real life, as Mino tried it on the exit of turn 3, but he wasn't quite close enough to make anything work, so we're getting on the inside curve a bit through turn number 5, but it hasn't hurt us too badly. Oh, here comes Mino up our inside into turn number 1, a little bit of contact, and I bounce wide, and he gets the move done into the lead of this Austrian Grand Prix on lap number 5 of 14, but we're back in the slipstream of the VR46 bike up towards turn number 2, up the inside on the brakes for the tightest corner, slowest corner on the track, up on the inside curve. We got a little bit of air, but we get that move done back into the lead of this Grand Prix. Oh, here he comes up the inside on the brakes down into turn 3, and Mino gets that move done back into the lead of the Grand Prix. We're right on the back of Mino. Can we look up the inside down into turn number 5? Yes, we can. Very awkward entry there. We've got a little bit wide. Is Mino going to sneak back up our inside? No, he is not. And it looks like we are back into the lead of the Grand Prix. Oh, Mino's trying up the inside of the penultimate corner. We switch back to his inside down into the final corner, I think. We've got that move done, but no, we run it a little bit too wide. I didn't anticipate for the narrower line that we're taking on the entrance, but now in the slipstream, up his inside down towards turn number 1 and back into the lead of this race on the brakes. A little bit deep. Mino sneaking back up our inside to give us a little bit of a hit, but he gets back into the leaders now into the slipstream. Back up his outside on the run up towards turn number 2. Here comes Mino again as he's starting to get a little bit of a tow as we head up towards turn number 2. Now hard on the brakes, but on the outside, which is not where we really want to be. Cut it back to the apex, up the inside, a little bit of air off the curb, and we get that move done. This is turning into a ding-dong battle between me and Mino for the lead of this Austrian Grand Prix. Oh, here he goes again, up the inside of turn number 3, and he gets that move done. We're going to jump immediately back into the slipstream as we head through turn number 4 and up to turn number 5, but we're not quite close enough. Can we actually try it right around the outside? No. Around the outside is not going to work. We get a nice exit up his inside, possibly into 6. Not quite close enough for that, but around his outside through turn number 6, trying to squeeze him out, but now we've got a compromise line for turn 7, riding the curb, and we hold on to the lead of the race. But it's not done there. Mino is looking back up our inside down into the second last corner, and he gets that move done. Can we try it up the inside of the last corner? A little bit of contact with Mino. We push him wide, and we get the move done. Back into the lead of the Grand Prix as we start lap number 7 of 14. We're almost at the halfway point of this Grand Prix. Oh, here he comes up the inside on the brakes for turn number 2, but back around the outside of Mino. We hold on to the lead for now, but now down the DR... Oh, this isn't Formula 1, of course. It's not a DRS straight. We don't have DRS in Moto3. But anyway, down this long straight towards turn number 3. Mino is in our slipstream, and he's going to dive it up our inside down into turn number 3. He gets that move done, and it looks like someone, Jorge Martin, is starting to join us, and possibly Bulliger as well. Our battling is allowing those two to catch up to us, and this could be a 4-way fight. By the end of this race, we've caught back up to Mino on the brake, sneak up the inside. No, we're getting in the grass a little bit. We're just going to ease out of that. We're not going to make a move on the grass. That wouldn't quite be fair, and that has allowed Martin to join right up to the back of this battle. In fact, take second place from us. We get very, very wide our line. Compromised through turn number 7, and now Bulliger is looking up our inside as we head down towards the penultimate corner. This is turning into a 4-way fight for the lead of the race. In the slipstream of Bulliger as we end lap number 7, and we are now past the halfway point of this Austrian Grand Prix down towards turn number 1. Martin is looking up the inside of Mino. Bulliger follows him through, and Mino is now down to 3rd place. Jorge Martin hits the lead of the races now. We're going to try and get ourselves back onto the podium up the inside of Mino in his slipstream, but he's in the slipstream of his teammate Nicolo Bulliger as we head up towards turn number 2. Hard on the brakes, very patient, because these guys take an odd line as a 3. Oh my! We've just got a 2-second penalty for that. That is going to shoot our chances in. We've just shot our chances in the foot of winning as we just took way too much curb. We got up off the ground. We were flying there momentarily, and we're now up into 2nd place. Mino is back into the lead, and right now we desperately need to hit the front and get a gap if we want to win this Grand Prix with that 2.4 second penalty now hanging over our heads. As Martin tried up our inside through turn 3, but he couldn't make that move stick, as now we're going to try to catch up to Andrea Mino. Right on the back of Mino in his slipstream down towards turn number 8. Can we try it up his inside into the penultimate corner? Yes, we can. Get the bike to the apex, get it stopped, and we're into the lead, and now we just need a breakaway at the front of this Grand Prix. 2.4 seconds, that's the gap we need to eke out. We have about 6 laps to do so as we start lap number 9 of 14. I think that's actually about 5 laps my maths isn't on point today, but Mino is going to try it up our inside down into turn number 1 and make a Bulliger. His teammate is going to follow him through to the 2 VR46 bikes and now into the lead of this race. A 1-2 for the VR46 squad at this stage. And this is really not helping us as now up towards turn number 2. It looks like Bulliger has now hit the lead of this Austrian Grand Prix. As now give that curb a little bit extra space up the inside of the pair of them into the lead of this Grand Prix. And now we just get our heads down. I know they don't follow in my slipstream if I move over here, so that's to make sure that they are not getting too much slipstream as we head down towards turn number 3, and hopefully we can hold on to the lead. We are quick through the 2 left-handers from... Oh, we've run it deep. No, we've run it too deep. They're going to get back up our inside. We've lost 2 places there to Bulliger and Mino just like that. This race is not going to plan. Since we got this penalty, this race has completely changed as Bulliger up the inside of Mino. We're going to try to follow him through on Mino up his inside now into second place down into turn number 6. Up the inside of Bulliger, very, very forceful, and we get that move done. Back into the lead, and now we need to break away. We must break away now. We can't let these guys continue to challenge us. As down towards the penultimate corner, get the bike to the apex of the corner, and they can't challenge us into there. As now through the final corner. I'm quite quick through here from memory compared to the other bikes. We run it very, very wide. Now we're going to go over to the inside of the track, trying to be cheeky so they don't get in my slipstream as we start lap number 10 of 14 here in Austria. Start of lap number 11, and we have a 1 second lead. Now we've got that little gap, and now we just need to really get our head down and extend that to over 2.493 seconds. We have 4 laps to do so here at the Red Bull Ring. 3 laps to go here in Austria, and the gap is now 1.6 seconds. I think with that sort of pace, we can just eke it out enough by the end of this race, but it's going to be close. Only 2 laps to go here of this Austrian Grand Prix, and what is the gap? It is now 2.5 seconds. We have the margin that we need. We have the gap to win this Grand Prix, and now we just need to make sure. Let's extend that a little bit further, just to make sure in case we make a mistake, we're still in position to win this race. Here we go, the last lap of this Austrian Grand Prix, and the gap is 2.8 seconds now, so we have 4 tenths in hand. Oh, we've gone a little bit deep into turn number 1. My finger legit slipped off the thumbstick into that corner, and now this gap is going to be very, very close. Those guys are fighting it out, and typically they go absolutely crazy on the final lap and lose a lot of time. The gap is now 2.1 seconds. It is not enough. We're going to have to push like crazy on the rest of this lap if we want to win this Austrian Grand Prix and hope that they fight it out a lot and lose heaps of time. Still 2.1 seconds the gap, as we only have a few corners left to go here in Austria as we head through the second left-hander for the last time in this race. A little bit wide through there. We're going to just have to use the curve as much as we can. We have 2 corners to go, and we need to pull out about 3 tenths of a second. I think it is 2.0 is now the gap. We've lost so much time on this last lap as now we've gone deep into the penultimate corner. Very, very wide through the second last corner as now we cut back through the final corner. A bit of a questionable line now up towards the start-finish line, across the line in first place. But have we won the Grand Prix? That is the question. Or am I going to come back to hate myself? We've lost it. By 1 tenth of a second, Mino gets the win. My finger slipped off the thumbstick in the middle of turn number 1 on that last lap. I had the gap I needed, and my finger slipped off the thumbstick, believe it or not. Oh, I cannot believe that. If we didn't run so wide through that second last corner, we might have got that as well, because I reckon we at least lost probably 2 tenths through that. Oh, we only just beat Bulliger in the end there as well. Very small margin between myself and Bulliger. But Mino has won this Austrian Grand Prix here at the Red Bull Ring, thanks to myself bouncing over a curb and getting not all 4, this isn't a car, all wheels, both of them off the ground at turn number 2 and getting a 2.5 second penalty, which I think was a little bit harsh. I don't think I gained 2.5 seconds by going flying. In fact, I think I probably lost time, but that's what the game gave me, and I just go cop it on the chin. And we've come home in second place in the end. We so nearly did enough to get the race victory, but we couldn't quite do it. And then on the final step of the podium is Nicolo Bulliga on the other Sky Racing Team VR46 bike. And it's actually a KTM top 4 with Philip Erdl finishing in 4th place. Mir came home in 5th, our championship rival, so still we're going to extend our championship lead, and that is what matters the most. Then McPhee came home in 6th, Jorge Martin in 7th, Enea Bastianini 8th, Aaron Canet 9th, and Fabio Di Gianantonio rounding out the top 10. Darren Binder all the way up in 11th place, so a good result for him, and our teammate Nicolo Antonelli dropping down to 13th place. So in the all-important championship standings, we have extended our lead even further. We are now over 200 points, and we have a 47-point lead over Mir in 2nd place. Bulliga has continued to catch up to Mir. It is now only 4 points back off Johan Mir, so it looks like it's going to be a close fight between those two over 2nd place in the championship. Then you got Mino sitting in 4th place, 63 points off myself, and he is actually tied for points with Aaron Canet, who seems to be falling back down the order a little bit. He was in 3rd, I believe, for the first half of the season, pretty much up until the summer break, but he is starting to fall down the order, and he rounds out the top 5, and our teammate Nicolo Antonelli is now into the triple digits on 102 and is sitting in 8th place. In the Constructors' standings, KTM continue to lead with 261 points, 64 points more than Honda in 2nd, and of course Mahindra and Peugeot still no points at all. There we go, celebrating in Parc Fermé, a race that could have been right there. One little mistake where we turned in too early, clipped that curb, and we could have had a race victory, but oh well, 2nd place is still a podium, and still some big championship points as my right leg starts to glitch out a little bit. So that'll do it for today, guys. Next time out, we head to England, to Silverstone, of course, a very, very famous track, and a great track in a Formula 1 car. I've driven it many, many times, but on a Grand Prix motorcycle, I'm not too sure. We'll find out in the next episode, and that'll hopefully be out in about 2 days from when this is going live. I think this is going up on the Wednesday, so the next episode should be on the Friday, I believe. I am going away for a week, like I'm recording this on Saturday, and I'm going away for the next week, but I'm trying to keep these videos going, so the next episode will be the British Grand Prix in 2 days' time, but until then, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you do smash that like button. If you are new to the channel, make sure you do subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Fitcho, and I'll see you all next time.